Hello, welcome back to my Thoughtful Thursdays video channel where we talk about important topics both inside and outside the church. Thank you so much for watching this week. Last week I mentioned I wanted to talk about abortion just a little bit because of the upcoming decision on Roe v. Wade. First, I want to say that this video is going to be short and sweet. I'm also not going to fight anyone on this topic. It's far too personal and it has affected people that I know and I love. There will be no use of the M word here to describe anyone who has made the choice to end a pregnancy. And people are going to whinge and complain about that. Too bad. My channel, my rules. I'm not debating this topic. Any comments of the like will be deleted. And I know that's going to make a lot of people really mad because they want to be able to troll around wherever they can and just spout their opinions wherever they think that their opinion should be heard. Not here. If that's your stance, your comments are not welcome. Please stroll along. Please troll along. This channel has always had an aspect of faith to it. Now, the genesis to talk about in this channel was always to talk about how the church was changing and is going to continue to change and how it needs to change. Well, today we are talking about abortion. And as I've stated before, I don't have a uterus, so I've mostly stayed out of this conversation. I don't want to be just a man mansplaining something. I'm not here to do that. Most of the time I listen way more on this topic than I ever say anything. However, I do want to lift up women who have already fought this fight, who have already gone before us. However, because this video is short and sweet, I want to lift up the voice of one of my heroes, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was fighting for women's rights a long time ago, from way before I was born. Here is a quote from her, God rest her soul. "The emphasis must be not on the right to abortion, but on the right to privacy and reproductive control." And I think that she's right here. The emphasis should not be on the act itself. And that's where people have had some issues in the past, especially people that would hold hateful signs outside of an abortion clinic or would use the M word. The choice to end a pregnancy or not isn't really the point here. It's just under that umbrella of autonomy of women's bodies. RBG was right. The issue here is about equal rights to privacy and reproductive rights. It is about the ability for a woman to make her own decisions in private about her own health and what she feels is best for her. And the focus cannot and it must not be taken from that. Nobody has a right to take that away from a woman. And the sign holding people will talk about heartbeats, fingernails, and when life begins or doesn't begin. That's not the issue, and we must not get caught up in that type of fighting. RBG also said the basic thing is that government has no business making that choice to get an abortion or not for a woman. God, I miss RBG. The government doesn't get to make that very personal, very private decision of a woman's reproductive health for her. And don't even try to bring up the COVID vaccine here. Not what I'm talking about. No time for that right now. Look. Inside the church, there seems to be this thought that the church has always been pro-life, has always had the stance that all abortion is morally wrong since its inception. I'm just here to say as shortly as I can, that is not the case. In fact, the largest evangelical group in the United States, the Southern Baptists, used to be a pro-choice movement. W. Barry Garrett of the Baptist Press wrote back in 1973 praising the Roe v. Wade decision, and I quote, "Religious bodies and religious persons can continue to teach their own particular views to their constituents with all the vigor they desire. People whose conscience forbids abortion are not compelled by law to have abortions. They are free to practice their religion according to the tenets of their personal or corporate faith. The reverse is also now true since the Supreme Court decision. Those whose conscience or religious convictions are not violated by abortion may not now be forbidden by a religious law to obtain an abortion if they so choose." However, and we've talked about the hijacking of the abortion debate by the Christian right on this channel before. You can go back and watch those videos. I'm not doing that today. I think this brings us back to faith, and the real issue at hand for us is trust of women. The church is not really known for its trust of women. Now, once again, I have videos on patriarchy and misogyny. You can go back and watch them, but there's not enough time for us to go there today. Do we trust women to make decisions for themselves? Do women truly have autonomy to make decisions about their own bodies? Well, I just want to be clear that I trust women in privacy with their doctors that they are going to make the best decisions for themselves and their health. I don't think that you or I get to make that decision. I don't think that the government gets to make that decision. And I think that it has been a major issue with the church and patriarchy in the past. However, Jesus sets this radical example towards women when all the men that he encountered seemed to have a distrust towards women. Just think about the woman that the men are about to stone in the Bible, and Jesus advocates for her. When a woman in the Bible anointed Jesus with perfume, the men around him hated it. When she let down her hair to wipe his feet, they couldn't stand it. We could have made money from all that perfume. Women were looked upon as seductresses, not to be trusted. People of faith and inside the church looked to Eve as being the reason for Adam's downfall. You should never trust a woman. We meet Jesus of the Bible and he just destroys all of these norms. The Samaritan woman at the well, Jesus wasn't even supposed to be in that region. Yet there he is getting a cool drink of water and chatting it up with this girl at a well. And in the Gospels, the first witnesses to Jesus' resurrection was a group of women in a time when society did not value the testimony of a woman. And Jesus first appeared to women. Jesus placed immense trust in women. I place immense trust in women to make their own decisions for themselves about their own reproductive rights. At the very heart of the issue, I believe that nobody has the right to use anybody else's body against their will. Period. Regardless of what it's for. You can't force me to give blood to save someone else's life. And donating blood is a good thing, but you can't force me to do it. Now I'm signed up as an organ donor as well, but nobody has the right to use and harvest my organs after I've died without my express written consent. With bodily autonomy, consent is key. That's it, friends. I don't really have more to say on this issue. It's one of those things where the less I say, the less I have to say. But I just want to repeat my 3 key points. 1, against strong opposition in the society of his time, Jesus trusted women. I trust women. 3, I miss Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Friends, at the very least, this conversation needs to get away from the M word and the sign-carrying people. That just makes people feel shame. I'm not about that. Thanks for watching this week. Join me back here next week as we bounce back to one of my favorite topics, my love and support of LGBTQIA+ people. I also have a big announcement to share with you next week. I'll see you back here next week, same time, same place.